I'm going to tell you the number one tip to network with millionaires that no one is telling you. I'm Branson Bowen, and this is Beyond the Blueprint podcast. Make sure you stay tuned to the end. I'm going to give you a valuable homework assignment that you'll be able to implement this week. All right, let's jump into it. The number one tip to network with millionaires that no one is telling you is to provide value. It is super difficult for a lot of these successful people to meet and greet with everybody that is looking for business tips, ideas, or to grow their professional networks. So if you're a young entrepreneur or someone that's just starting out in your industry, you have to provide value to those successful individuals. If you're trying to grow your sphere of network with millionaires and successful people that have been there and done that, you've got to find a way to provide value to them first. It's not a give, and take industry. You've got to give as much as you can in order to get more from them. One tip that I try to tell people is to go and research the individual that you're trying to connect to. Specific to your industry, you can easily go on LinkedIn, figure out what their roles are, what they do, and try to navigate what they're looking for. If you are really good at networking, you would find out what that person wants just by research of who they are, what they do, or their company. Hook them into meeting with you to try to get them a coffee or a lunch. It's not very likely that people in a certain sphere of influence will be able to set the time allotted for you if you can't provide that value first. One thing that I like to do is use LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great platform that you can see what exactly a person does, what company that they work for, and specifically who they're connected to and what might be valuable to them. I might start with a message. Hey, so-and-so, I see that you do X, Y, and Z in this industry. And then I'm trying to go through my Rolodex and what I can do to provide value to that person. Maybe it's connecting them to someone else in that industry. You can say, hey, so-and-so, I see that you work with, this X, Y, and Z company. You guys are looking to do this. I have a lot of great context that I think might be valuable and be a resource for you and your business. I think it would be good to meet for coffee. Would you be open to it? That's a simple, short way to say, hey, I have an idea. I want to provide you value, but also give them something before they just agree to meet with you and have coffee or lunch with you. I would always stick to coffee. Coffee is an easy way to spend 30 minutes. If it's going great, then you can spend an hour. I've had coffee meetings that last 2 hours, but if it's not going great, or maybe the person doesn't have a lot of time, you can cut coffee down to 15, 20 minutes if you have to. So I would start there, try to provide value, do your research, and make sure the person that you are trying to connect with, you're able to give them value on the front end without asking for things from them on the back end. So in preparation for the meeting, I would definitely advise to make sure, again, do your research, right? So a lot of times you don't want to be in a coffee meeting and looking at a notebook on what this person actually does. You want to make sure you know what they do, who they are, who they're connected to. Maybe they volunteer for a nonprofit that you're familiar with. Maybe you volunteer for that same nonprofit. Maybe there's a commonality that you both can relate to during that coffee meeting. Networking and building relationships is about trust, but also relatability. So if there's a way that you can relate with that person on the front end, that's very, very valuable. So again, doing that research, figuring what they like to do. We all have jobs, we all work. Talking about work isn't always the best thing to do, although you're meeting for work and you're meeting for professional success. You want to have a personal relatability aspect to your meeting. Another thing is figuring out, okay, maybe if they have a family, are they married? Do they have kids? Do they travel? What do they like to do for fun? Things like that really go a long way. And if you're in that meeting and you bring up, hey, so-and-so, I saw that, you just came back from Alaska and you did X, Y, and Z. What that tells a person is, hey, you actually did the research and you actually are interested in building a relationship with this person. You're not just saying, hey, I see that you work for X, Y, and Z company and I feel like I can provide my services to you. Well, that's that's not really about building relationships, and it's not really what the foundation of networking is. So I would definitely advise doing your research of that person, who they are, what they're about, what are their interests first, before actually meeting with them. All right, here's your homework for the week. I want you to go on LinkedIn. First, if you don't have a good LinkedIn profile, create a good LinkedIn profile. Your profile says who you are and what you're about and what you're looking to do in your profession. I want you to go and find 5 individuals that you have not already connected with. Figure out who they are. One, they have to be beneficial to you. I want them to be beneficial to your professional service that you provide. And I want them to be a goal of yours to be in their sphere of influence. Find out who they are, what they do, and send them a message. Don't be afraid if they don't message you back the first time. People of this stature that are building great success are getting hundreds of messages on LinkedIn. Trust me. If you are very genuine in your message and figure out what you can relate to in your message, try to provide value in your message, and then close the message. Actually say, hey, are you available this date at this time for coffee? If they say no, then great, pick another date. Or have a few options. Too many options is way too much. It's analysis by paralysis. Give them 1 or 2 options to say yes and no. Are they available? Then try to get their email. Tell them you'll send them an email invite if you can get their email. Now you've got contact information over LinkedIn messaging. So you've got their email, you've got their LinkedIn, and you're setting up a time to meet. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel for more networking growth content.